Welcome back everyone. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge and see how this bad boy holds up in 2021. Now obviously what I can tell you is that you probably shouldn't go and buy this phone right now. It really doesn't make too much sense to do this, mostly because it is a outdated phone. It's not getting any more software updates, no more security updates for the most part. So it's already pretty much outdated. But on top of that, this is one of the most perplexing phones ever because hardware wise, just like the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, this phone, although it does have a lot of bezel, it has a home button, it doesn't look extremely outdated. The panel is beautiful, it feels extremely good in the hand, and it kind of feels more premium than my Samsung Galaxy S21. So that's another pretty crazy thing about this device. Now I will leave a Galaxy S10 or S20 link down below, so you can get that from there, and the description helps support the channel at the same time. Now on the front, you do have that 5.5-inch Super AMOLED panel, 1440p, and it's definitely still a very good panel, not ugly at all, and it's one of my favorite aspects about this phone. Fingerprint sensor on the front as well, touch sensor, whatever on the side, curved display as well, which is another huge thing about it. You do have the micro USB port, headphone jack, and micro SD card slot on this phone as well, so another pretty big advantage as well. And on the back, a standard glass back, wireless charging, and that single camera setup, which we'll go ahead and hit on right now. So it has that 12 megapixel wide angle lens, and you can do 4K at 30 on it, and I've said this for pretty much forever now, and I still agree with it. Essentially, Samsung really knocked it out of the park with their cameras throughout their whole entire life cycle, and these cameras have a lot of features built in already that a lot of iPhones still don't have, to be honest. And that's one thing that Samsung really does extremely well. So when it comes down to this camera, a humongous thumbs up for sure for the age that it came out. It came out in 2016, so 5 years ago, the same year that the iPhone 6s came out. And this camera I think is way better than the iPhone 6s camera, to be completely honest. Or it was about a couple months after the iPhone 6s, whatever. A very good camera for sure, and I'm a huge fan of this specific lens without a doubt. A 5 megapixel front facing camera, which is really not that good. That's definitely one of the, I guess, not the best aspect about this phone, but again, it is what it is. I think the overall camera, is probably a thumbs up for me though. Now next up we have the software, and this is again probably the worst aspect about this phone. So it started off with Android 6.0. We were able to upgrade it to Android 8.0, but that's where it ended. It did not get Android 9. It did not get One UI, which was very sad because One UI was a pretty big change in the whole entire software, and this phone unfortunately did not get that, experience, which is kind of sad. But again, what are we gonna do? We can't really do anything about it. There may be some custom ROMs out for it. I tried to custom ROM my Galaxy S7 and I was not able to. So again, there's nothing we can do about it, but I am a fan of, stock Android, so I'm not even a fan of TouchWiz, to be honest. But that's really it on the software side. And the battery of this thing, actually at that time, I think it was the biggest size battery on any Samsung Galaxy S device. And this thing had a 3600 mAh battery, which is a massive size battery. That's bigger than the iPhone 12 and the 12 Pro. And I think it's even bigger than the iPhone 11 Pro, to be honest. So this battery size is massive for sure. And this was a 2016 phone, so that's definitely a humongous aspect. So definitely the battery size and battery life is actually pretty good from this phone, but I think the software sucks up a lot of that. And because this phone is a couple years old, it's degraded in the battery department as well. So that's another pretty big thing to keep in mind. But in terms of battery, that covers it up. Now ending it off with the performance, this device does have that Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 chipset, quad-core CPU, and 4 gigabytes of RAM on every single model that this phone came out with. And I think in terms of the performance segment as well, this is another one of those devices that performance at that time I think it was the best of that year, to be honest. I mean, this, maybe some other devices as well, but this was up there. The only issue is that because of the software, and I hate hating on TouchWiz all the time, but because of the software, this was a pretty big limitation of this specific device. So you're not really going to be getting that crazy good of a performing phone because of the software compared to something that may not have the highest specifications or highest amount of RAM, but because the software doesn't bog down on those other phones, that's why those other phones are able to kind of handle what you throw at them. And with this one, performance is good. I would even say it's great for this year of this device, but it just isn't as good as I thought it could be, mostly because of, the software that is on. I look at another phone that came out in 2016, maybe like the Nexus that came out that year, and that phone does feel much smoother. I think maybe it was the Nexus 6P or maybe even the Google Pixel, the original one, and I just get the vibe that that thing was much more smoother than this one. So take it as you will, but that's essentially how I would kind of sum up the performance in the middle of 2021. And to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you still buy a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge in 2021, or at least released in the middle of this year? And I would probably say no. Just like how I said early on, I would not recommend, getting this type of device in this specific year. It just really doesn't make too much sense to do it. I feel like personally, getting a device like a, Google Pixel, even the original one, or even the second one, or even a Nexus. I would stay away from Nexus at this point, but the original Google Pixel, that's a much better device to pick up than this thing. And if you have the money, I would highly recommend getting something like a Galaxy S10. And that device is a perfect device for so many people, and that thing's still getting support. And it's almost like a no-brainer to me. That is a solid phone with a solid, lifespan in front of it. And this one, it's already outdated. I think it's cool to look back on these phones, but I really wouldn't recommend picking up this phone right now in 2021. So that's essentially it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.